Hi everybody, and welcome back to Learn English with Chef Joanna. Today I'm going to show you how to make an American favorite pumpkin pie. Okay, so this is a really easy recipe, but it does take some time to cook, about an hour or two. So it can be assembled in 5 minutes. But then you need to make sure you have time to be at home and watch the oven. But it's really simple, and I'm going to go through just how to put it together really quickly, and then I'll talk a little bit about what pumpkin pie is for America. Okay, so the first thing we need is sugar, and it's a dessert after all. 3/4 a cup of granulated sugar, so I have half a cup here and 1/4 a cup here. So make sure it's leveled out perfectly. Put that in a small bowl, and then we're going to add our spices. So the spices are really important because they give the flavor of the pumpkin pie that everybody loves. So we have cinnamon, cloves, and ginger, which I've measured out. We have half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of ginger, 1 teaspoon cinnamon, and 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. So we have that here. I'm just going to put that in with the sugar, and we're just going to mix that up really quickly just to kind of make sure it's all evenly distributed. Make sure it's all evenly distributed and there's no clumps. Okay, so in another bowl, a bigger bowl, we have, we're going to put our 2 large eggs. So I have 1 egg here, and we'll just do that. Whoop, there's the other egg. Okay, I'm going to whisk that up quickly. Same whisk I have here. We have our little... Okay. Just a little bit. We're going to put our sugar in here and our spices. And the most important ingredient, the pumpkin. So this is canned, 100% canned pumpkin. So I just have a spatula here. I'm going to take it all out and put it into the eggs and the sugar spices. And you can make this with your own, if you cook pumpkin and then you puree it, you can do that as well, but this is pretty good. It's just all natural pumpkin, so no sugar, nothing added to it. This is, it's not going to make the pie healthy, but at least you get some vitamin A from the pumpkin. So this doesn't mean you can have 5 slices of pie, but at least there's some kind of vegetable in here. Okay, so once we have all of that, I forgot to say I preheated the oven to 425, so we're going to bake it for 15 minutes and then we're going to lower it to 350. So now that I have my pumpkin in there, I'm going to whip that up a little bit. You can also do this in a blender, I guess, too, but this is going to be just fine. You can see how it looks there, just really orange. You can start to smell the spices. Okay, and then we have we have evaporated milk. This is our important ingredient, and we're just going to pour this in a little bit at a time. You can see that a little bit. It looks really pretty when it starts to swirl. So we're just gonna And this is just pretty much milk that's a little more concentrated. So it's going to make the pie really creamy. And that's why everybody loves it. Because it's a creamy pie, and you can add more cream when you add whipped cream on top. So if you like creamy things and spices like a lot of Americans for Thanksgiving and Christmas, we make this pie. It's pretty much a classic. At every Thanksgiving table, you're gonna see a pumpkin pie. So you've got to try this one time at least. Okay, it's beautifully mixed. We whipped it up a little bit, and now we have our pie shell. So you can either make yours by yourself, or you can buy it in the supermarket. This is a graham cracker crust, but you can also buy an unbaked pie shell as well. I'm just putting it on a baking tray, so if it spills or anything, it won't go into the oven. And then carefully, basically, we're just going to pour this into the pie shell. And it's going to be a little more than we need. Okay. So fill it up as much as you can, because it's going to rise and then it's going to fall. So it's going to shrink a little bit. So I filled it up, but don't go over. And basically we're just going to put it in the oven for 15 minutes at 425. Okay, sorry for the lighting, but after 40 minutes in the oven at 350 degrees, our pie is looking good, but it is still a little jiggly. So see, when I pull this out, we can see that it jiggles a little bit. So I'm gonna put it in for another 10 minutes, and then we'll test it with a knife and see how it is. These are just little ones I made with the extra pumpkin. So I'll check back. Okay, so after 50 minutes, we have taken out the pie, and I just want to do the test and show you that our knife is clean. So it is done. Now we have to let it cool for 2 hours so that it will go down and the pie will get a little more dense together before we cut it. This is really important. You have to let it sit and cool, and you can serve it warm or cold from the refrigerator.